We're in the middle of some verses here which use the very contentious language of the ego soul. If you haven't listened to the previous couple of videos, then it might be a good idea to do so, because I address this issue in these videos. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you've heard all the usual caveats, and I'm going to press on. Verse 761. Like the essence of the medicinal herb, or like fire in the kindling, those who have no wisdom do not see the ego soul within the Skandhas. So there's a couple of examples here which I think need a bit of explaining. Medicinal herb and the kindling. The understanding is that there's an essence in the herb and in the kindling which has to be extracted by means of a particular process. The fire is actually regarded as residing in the kindling, and it has to be released by various processes. In the same way, the beneficial qualities of a medicinal herb. So what we're being told here is that the Skandhas within them have the ego soul, which has to be realized through a certain process of extraction. When I first learnt about the Skandhas from my teacher, who was an Englishman with the Buddhist name of Sangharakshita, he founded the Western Buddhist order, which is now known as the Triratna Buddhist order. He described the Skandhas as heaps. This apparently is the literal term. We have these 5 heaps. I'm not sure this word heap is particularly useful. In the previous video I used the term factor, because the word heap gives the impression of something quite inert, which is maybe the point. The 5 Skandhas, which replace the notion of the ego soul, are not particularly appealing, because there's just these 5 inert heaps. There is no individual here. They fall short somewhat of explaining this apparently magical illusion of an individual. The Skandhas describe the discriminative process whereby we come to accept the view that there's an individual here experiencing a world out there. In short, the Skandhas describe the construction and maintenance of the triple world. And when we see this, when we truly appreciate this, we are becoming liberated from the triple world. We're becoming liberated from the notion of an individual experiencing an external world. We come back to a sense of pure being, which is what the term ego soul is referring to here. It has got nothing to do with the personality or with the individual. And yet It is something very intimate to the individual. It is the soul of the individual, but I'm using that term in a poetic sense, in the sense of it's the heart. Again, talking poetically, it is the heart of the individual. So when I say it's the heart of the individual, you're not thinking of some pulsing bit of meat. In the same way, when I talk about soul, you're not thinking of some ethereal wraith floating around which departs the body at the time of death. No, it's soul in the sense of what is essential. What is essential? What is essential to the individual? So in true Zen spirit, we look at things afresh. We're not being bound up by words and doctrines. In Zen, in enlightenment practice, that's what we're concerned with. We're concerned with enlightenment. We're not going to let ourselves be limited by ideas, be limited by doctrines. These verses here, using the language of the ego soul, are doing what all the verses before them have done. They're pointing us to the awareness which is healing this, and we take it from there to appreciate this awareness, to appreciate its nature as a liberation from the triple world, the triple emancipation. Emancipation from the world involves emancipation from the self, and emancipation from the limiting dynamic between the two. So this is a great opportunity to see how we might be limited by beliefs and to move beyond them.